I ask my liberal NDP conservative coalition friends, while you pray for Ukraine and billions of dollars are being sent over there to aid, support, and help and bring people here, is anybody praying for Sri Lanka? What is your media talking about when it comes to Sri Lanka and what the official government press release was 2 days ago? Not good. You see, our supply chain has been disrupted. Whether you know it or unaware, the supply chain is disrupted because of the measures our government has taken, and now multinational corporations are piggybacking those measures and implementing themselves as our corrupt governments are refusing to step in and enforce the law legally against these corporations, which are picking up the slack for what the government was illegally doing over the last 2 years. Whether you agree or disagree with the mandates were illegal. The emergency order was illegal. This has come out in the mainstream media, whether you in particular are aware of it or not, may or may not be a fact, but it's true. So, as we wait for the media to tell us what to pray for, perhaps we can find out here in the first world, as we have in America, baby formula shortage. They don't have to worry though, because Bill Gates has been in the works for over a year now to create synthetic breast milk just for this occasion. Again, that aside, Sri Lanka. There are food riots already happening. You can literally go and watch the premier of the country announce exactly in the best laid plans he can announce. Remember, when someone is giving terrible, horrible, horrifying news, to address the people, they lay it out in the most benevolent way and in a positive spin, which you'll see at the end if you choose to watch. But they have no money, no rupees, limited rupees, under $1 million in American dollars. They can't afford the last 4 months of debt they've incurred on all fuels. That's propane, that's diesel, that's all petrol, kerosene. They have under 2 of the 14 required essential medicines that nations should have available to its public. Less than 2. That means 1 or none. There are food riots happening now. People are murdering police officers, authority figures, and politicians because they see what's happening. This is the death of the third world and the collapse of the first. We haven't felt it, or maybe you haven't felt it yet. Some of us have. But we will. And it's the third world that's going to pay with their lives as we follow this globalist agenda of the Great Reset or Build Back Better or Agenda 2030. Whatever you want to name it, it's the same Klaus Schwab, Davos, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization plan. Anyway, without further ado, please, if you care, listen to the Premier of Sri Lanka express the state of the nation.
Today, last Thursday, I accepted the office of Prime Minister. I did not request this position. In the face of the challenging situation confronting the country, the President invited me to take up this position. I assumed this duty not only as a political leader, but also as a national leader. At present, the Sri Lankan economy is extremely precarious. Although the former government's budget projected a revenue of 2.3 trillion Sri Lankan rupees, 1.6 trillion is now the realistic projection of this year's revenue. The estimated government expenditure for this year was 3.3 trillion rupees. However, due to the increase in interest rates and additional expenditure of the former government, the total government expenditure expected is now 4 trillion rupees. So the budget deficit for the year is 2.4 trillion rupees. This amounts to 13% of the gross domestic product. Yesterday, a cabinet decision was made to present a proposal to Parliament to increase the approved limit for issuing treasury bills from 3,000 billion to 4,000 billion rupees. In November 2019, our foreign exchange reserves were at 7.5 billion American dollars. However, today it is a challenge for the Treasury to find even 1 million American dollars. The Ministry of Finance is finding it difficult to raise the 5 million American dollars required to import propane. Amidst all these issues, we are faced with several grave concerns. To ease the gas station lines, we must obtain 75 million American dollars within the next couple of days. At the moment, we only have gasoline supplies for a single day. Due to the diesel shipment that arrived yesterday, the lack of diesel will be resolved to some extent. Under the Indian credit line, 2 more diesel shipments are due to arrive. In addition, 2 more gasoline shipments are expected. For 30 days, over 30 days, 3 ships with crude oil and furnace oil have been anchored within the maritime zone of Sri Lanka. We are working to obtain dollars in order to pay for these shipments. A quarter of all electricity is produced from oil. Therefore, there is a possibility that the daily power outages will increase to 15 hours per day. However, we have already obtained some money to avert this crisis. We must immediately obtain $20 million to provide propane gas to consumers. The situation of kerosene and furnace oil is even more urgent. At present, the central bank and all other banks functioning in Sri Lanka are facing a dollar shortage. We possess a very low amount of US dollars. We will work towards making a payment for the propane shipment that arrived on Tuesday. Therefore, you will have some respite from the current propane shortages. Another grave concern is the lack of medicine. There is a severe shortage of a number of medicines, including medicine required for heart disease, as well as surgical equipment. Payments have not been made for 4 months to suppliers of medicine, medical equipment, and even food for patients. The payment owed to them amounts to 34 billion rupees. In addition, payments have not been made for 4 months for medicine imported by the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation. As a result, pharmaceutical companies are taking steps to blacklist the SPC. Unfortunately, our medical supplies division is unable to provide even 2 critical items of the 14 essential medicines that we currently need. These 2 are a medicine used in treating heart disease and the anti-rabies vaccine. The latter has no alternative treatment. We plan to present a new alternative budget for 2022. I further propose to privatize Sri Lankan Airlines, which is incurring extensive losses. By the 31st of March 2021, the total loss for that was at 372 billion rupees. Even if we privatize Sri Lankan Airlines, this is a loss that we must bear. You must be aware that this is a loss that must be borne, even by the poor people of this country who have never even stepped on an airplane. In the short term, we will have to face an even more difficult period. There is a possibility that inflation will increase further. At present, the government incurs a loss on every litre of fuel sold. The Petroleum Corporation can no longer bear this loss. Similarly, the Electricity Board charges 17 rupees per unit of electricity, but the cost of production is at around 48 rupees, therefore amounting to a loss of about 30 rupees per unit. This is also a serious problem. Against my wishes, I am compelled to permit printing money in order to pay state sector employees and to pay for essential goods and services. However, we must remember that printing money leads to the depreciation of the rupee. Under the current circumstances, even the Petroleum Corporation and the Electricity Board are unable to obtain rupees. The next couple of months will be the most difficult ones of our lives. We must prepare ourselves to make some sacrifices and face the challenges of this period. I have no desire to hide the truth and to lie to the public. Although these facts are unpleasant and indeed terrifying, this is the true situation. For a short period, our future will be even more difficult than the tough times that have passed. We will face considerable challenges and adversity. However, this period will not be long. In the coming months, our foreign allies will assist us. They have already pledged their support. Therefore, we will have to patiently bear the next couple of months. However, we can overcome this situation. Doing so will require taking a new path. We must immediately establish a national assembly or political body with the participation of all political parties to find solutions for the present crisis. This will enable us to talk with all parties and to arrive at decisions for short, medium, and long-term action plans that will enable us to rebuild our nation. We will build a nation without lines for kerosene, gas, and fuel, a nation free of power outages, a nation with plentiful resources where agriculture can freely flourish, a nation where the future of the youth is secure, a nation where people's labor need not be wasted in lines and in struggles, a nation where everyone can lead their lives freely with 3 square meals a day. I am undertaking a dangerous challenge. In the Caucasian chalk circle story, Grusha crossed the broken rope bridge carrying a child that was not her own. This is an even more difficult undertaking. The chasm is deep and its bottom cannot be seen. The bridge is made of thin glass and there is no handrail. I am wearing shoes with sharp nails that cannot be removed. My task is to safely take the child to the other side. I am accepting this challenge for our nation. My goal and dedication is not to save an individual, a family, or a political party. My objective is to save all the people of this country and the future of our younger generation. I will undertake this task willingly, risking my own life if needed, and will overcome the challenges facing us. I ask you to extend your support to me in this endeavor. I will fulfill my duty towards our nation. That is my promise to you.